Alright, today I am changing the oil on my 2011 Ram 2500. It does have the 6.7 Cummins, and thought I'd throw a quick video together on how to do an oil change. It's pretty much the same as any other vehicle. The only difference is your fuel filter, which you only got to replace this thing once every other oil change. Some people do it every oil change, but I do it every other, and it works out just fine. So we will start there. It's kind of tight in the garage space that I got right now, and my truck is lifted, so of course I got my little handy chair here. But if you look on the right side, so here's the driver's side here. Okay, so you got your brake fluid reservoir, and right back in there you can kind of see it. You can see this yellow knob here. You want to turn that to the left, so counterclockwise, and then what's going to happen, that's going to drain where your fuel filter's at. That's going to drain all the diesel fuel out of there. You want to do that first, that way you can pull the fuel filter without diesel just spilling over everywhere. But when you turn that counterclockwise, this little tube, and you can kind of see it, it's right there above that cross number. The tip of it's kind of wet because I've already drained it. Let me see if I can get up under there better for it. It is that right there, that tube. So that drips, it hits my front diff, and then I just have a pan down here just catching what came out, and not a whole lot comes out, but you release that, the diesel fuel comes out, and then you're onto the next step, which is going to be releasing the cap of that fuel filter reservoir. And I'll go get the socket and everything, and we'll continue after I get it. Alright, so I've moved the light here. Hopefully you can see a little bit better, but behind my air intake horn there. There we go. So that's the cap. That little nut on the top, or little place where you can put a socket. That was a 1 1/8, so I've already kind of cracked it loose. So take this top off. There we go. And there you can see the fuel filter. So pull that guy out. There we go. Alright. And yeah, I'd say she's pretty dirty there. Which, like I said, I do this every other oil change, so good thing I do it every other oil change. I'll bring it back here, get my new one out. Guess it's a good time to talk about brand. Everybody's got their argument and likes what they like, but I do like to use oil-wise. I like to use Valvoline Premium Blue. I do this for one reason. When I was shopping around, Cummins does endorse this brand, and it's also relatively inexpensive compared to like AMSOIL, or if you did like Royal Purple or something. The price is good. I've shopped for this before, and the cheapest I found it anywhere is Menards. So if you got a Menards, I would recommend to pick it up there. That's just like I said, what I've found so far as the best place to get it. In case you don't know, it will need 12 quarts, so that's 3 gallons. So one case will cover the whole job here, but it'll take every bit of this. And then as far as the actual filters go, I like to use Mopar. You can use Fleet Guard, that's another one that's pretty popular. I just kind of like to stick with Mopar. So let's pull out the fuel filter, make sure I got the right one. I'd say that looks pretty dang close. Nice and clean there. The fuel filter part number is right there, MO291. The oil filter part number is MO285. So in case you guys are looking for that, it's pretty much all your stats and stuff you need for this. Put that there. And I will unwrap this, and I will be back then. Alright, well, got that unwrapped. One interesting thing that I haven't noticed before, which actually my old filter does not have this, but this new one I got does. Right here on the top, it shows a little Cummins engraving, but next to it's got Fleet Guard. So, I'm assuming this is pretty much identical to what you'd get with a Fleet Guard brand. So, my new opinion is it does not matter which brand you get if you get Fleet Guard or Mopar. Whichever one's cheaper is what I would say. One other thing to note, you do get a new O-ring for the cap. So if we go up here and let me get that cap real quick. But there's a little O-ring in there, and you want to replace that every time. Well, it's not on my cap. Let's go see if it's on the... It's probably actually on the reservoir there where the fuel filter goes. Let's find out. It is. I feel it. Anyways, I will dig that out and get that replaced as well. Alright, I got the old one out. This right here is the new one. So I'm going to go ahead and just loop it around that canister, push it all the way down, and then when the cap gets tightened, it'll have a nice seal with the new O-ring. So I'll get that done. Kind of hard to do this one-handed, so at least I don't have a good enough reach for it. So anyways, I'll get that done and come back. Alright, got the new O-ring on there. You want to make sure there is a lip. You want to make sure you're above that lip. That way when you seat the cap here, it has a nice seal. If you're under that lip, then basically the O-ring is doing nothing. So we will get this back on here real quick. And then, like I said, this is really the only difference between your standard oil change and a diesel oil change, besides the amount of oil. I mean, obviously a diesel motor, most of them, I mean, this is a 6.7, so uses quite a bit of oil. And then my thought on how tight to tighten that cap down there is I kind of treat it like an oil filter. It doesn't need to be too tight. I mean, obviously with it being plastic, if you tighten the crap out of it, it's going to probably crack. So I just like to make it nice and snug. So I will finish that up, and even though that's really all there is extra to a oil change on this thing than any other motor, any other gas motor, I'll go ahead and just finish up and get the oil done now. So, all right, I'll do that and be right back. One thing I haven't mentioned yet, and it just kind of dawned on me when I was finishing this part up, but make sure that you tighten this little guy back up, otherwise you're just gonna leak diesel when you go to start your truck. So make sure you tighten that up. It's only 1/4 of a turn, so not like you have to tighten it much, just 1/4 of a turn. So anyways, I'm all done. I did that, so now we'll continue with the oil part. Alright, so I'm up here underneath the truck. So right in the center you'll see the oil pan. It's this guy right here. It's all covered in some diesel. When I took the cap off, a little bit of diesel came out. So covered in diesel right now. But right here you've got the cap. This cap is just the end of a I think it's a 3/8 drive, but you just stick the end of that wrench in there and you turn it and it'll crack loose, and then you'll have the oil drain out there. So I'll do that real quick with both my hands, that way I kind of limit the mess, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we're back. Here's the new filter. I've got the old filter out and it's sitting in the drain pan there. The first thing, just like on any car, you're going to want to get some fresh oil and just go around this little seal right here. Make sure it's got some oil. That way it makes a nice seal for you. So just stick my finger down in there. There we go. And I'm going to just get this nice and lubricated there. And then what I'm also going to do, you want to fill this up probably about halfway. I don't like to leave my oil filters totally dry. That way when you start it, it's got some oil in here. So I'm going to fill this up halfway and get that back up and get that oil filter replaced. Alright, oil filter is replaced. I do have the drain plug down there. I did replug that in, and still got the light down there. And I am not in my garage. I say that because this oil pan that I've used completely sucks. It wasn't flowing into the pan fast enough, so I don't know if you can see that on camera there, but had a complete catastrophe happen back there. Got about a quart or two of oil that just overfilled. So anyways, that's all done. I have to get some quick dry down on that, and then you can see the old oil filter if I can just get that light out of there. But so anyways, all of it's done up down here. Like I said, I got the plug in, got the new oil filter up in there. Everything's nice and tight. Speaking of that, technically I've always heard that you can just hand tighten oil filters. I hand tighten them, and then I put them on the wrench and just do like a quarter turn just to make sure they're snug. I've only hand tightened them on a couple smaller cars, but on like a diesel or something, I don't know about that. So I just do make sure they're snug with a wrench, and like I said, I get them hand tight, and then I do about a quarter turn. Same kind of goes with the drain plug. Maybe not quite that much, but you definitely don't want to over tighten it because again, it's just plastic. But just make sure it's nice and snug. So that being said, all that's left is opening up the oil cap right here and putting in 12 quarts of oil. This is the lovely funnel I have to work with, which it does not fit in the hole, so this is going to be a two-hand job. So anyways, I'll get that done and come back with one last thing, and that'll be it. So 1 second. Alright, and the last and final step, as you can see, all 3 gallons are empty. Those are in the motor. I have put the cap back on, and so now if you're doing any other vehicle, you just start it up, let it run for a second, and then turn it off and check your oil level. But since we replace, and you could do that if you didn't replace the fuel filter. Well, I've replaced the fuel filter, so I'm gonna have to cycle the fuel pump a couple times. So what you want to do is go and just turn your motor on, or not the motor on, but to accessory. I don't think you'll be able to hear the fuel pump kick on and off, but you'll hear it kick on, then you'll hear it kick off. And I just heard it kick off, or that was the grid, but the grid heater. But turn it off, turn it on, and then you hear it do like a, I guess if I'm going to imitate the noise, it's like chick chick. So you'll hear that. Turn off, turn it back on, let it do it again. I hear most people do it 3 times, so there's the 3rd time. We should be able to turn it, and it should start. There she goes. So of course it's gonna be loud out there, but I'm just gonna poke my head out, make sure we got no leaks or anything going on. All right, finished up. Now I just got to clean up the mess. Of course, I record on the day that I have one of the messiest oil changes of my life. So anyways, got to throw some quick dry on that. And all went nice and smooth. So if you got any questions, just throw them down in the comments. Pretty much anybody can do this as long as you're not scared of picking up a tool. So anyways, good luck. And like I said, post any questions if you got them. Thanks.